Hello friends, welcome to The Art of Evan K, my YouTube channel where I go about live streaming and drawing various things for my own personal amusement and hopefully the benefit of you and anyone interested in learning a little thing about digital drawing. Today, lately I've been doing a series of draw overs of selfies as a way to get myself comfortable with exploring color and various techniques within Procreate, exploring color theory, lettering, and the like. But seeing as we are living in rather unprecedented times, despite my very meager platform that I'm developing here, I thought that I would take a moment with the increase in deportations of immigrants in our country, headed up by our current president, which is disgusting and shameful to see the amount of wreckage it's causing on families that are living here in America. I thought I would take a second to create, to digitally hand letter a small card that appraises you and your loved ones of your rights when you are in the presence of an ICE officer. The inspiration for this was watching Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's recent Instagram Reels presentation about this very subject, and her advice to her constituents and anyone watching was to spread the news of your rights far and wide so everybody remains informed, because in this time, what good-minded people, Democrats and otherwise, can do is to essentially, I think, slow down the massive amounts of unconstitutional changes that are happening in our country right now. If you want to see the original source material, this is not my own material. It will literally be within the words of already released documents. I printed them out for myself so that I have something to work off of. But this is the Know Your Rights sheets that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, put up on her Rep AOC account on Instagram. So you can find all of this information in easily printable forms there, but I'm hoping that what I provide today will also be made available in easily printable and free forms so that you can do something with it and study it and know exactly what your rights are. I would encourage that if you are an immigrant to know these, and if you are a U.S. citizen, like myself, that you also learn them and get to know them, so that if you encounter anybody who needs to know this information, you also are informed. As people with the privileges of being U.S. citizens, I think that it is also within our needs to help inform people of their rights in this time. Every little bit helps these days, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm hoping that's what you can end up doing. So let's get started. Now, this technique that I'm going to use for the lettering is not my own. I learned this trick from Chris Piasek's YouTube channel, who's an incredible illustrator who does videos on his own channel about how various tutorials on how to make how to use specifically, it seems Adobe Fresco, but just lettering and inking and art techniques in all kinds of ways. So this technique, this trick, I learned from him. So I'm not trying to take credit for something I discovered. So now I've already taken the liberty of getting some safe margins. This is business card sized. So, because in my wallet, I have a handy know your rights when talking to the police card, which I've always found very handy if I'm ever in a situation where I have to chat with them and need to know where I stand and what I am allowed to do or not do. So the hope of this is to turn this maybe into a little card that you too can keep on you to make it accessible in all the ways. But I found just on Google somewhere from a printing website, this live view margins and trim for business card sizes. So this seems like it should work just fine. Rather than making all my own margins, sometimes I just like looking on the internet to see if something like that already exists. So let's get started with the top. Now my initial thinking is to make this purple and maybe green or something. So let's see how I like these colors together. You know, it would be fun. Let's start with the American flag colors and see where that gets us. Let's get some primary red. And of course, the white. Red, white, and blue. This feels like it needs to be a little bit more, something in that range. Wow, that's really white. It appears gray to my eye right now, but that's okay. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I think it'll be kind of interesting to invert this color scheme and work with that. So let's see what's directly on the opposite end from this blue. Well, first let's make sure that I like this color palette. Let's see, we got, no, I want hue saturation. All right, let's make sure that this is looking okay as far as that goes. I mean, yeah, so that's not bad. Let's see if there's anything that's worth messing with as far as this. Red. Yeah, that's a pretty vibrant red. Can't really tell the difference maybe on this screen, but there's a little bit of a difference there. Yeah. It's a little bit less obnoxious. I think of the American flag as maybe being a slightly more, yeah, viridian. Not quite crimson as far as that color goes. And then when it comes to the American blue, I'm just going off a feel here. I could get a Google image search going, but I'm just going to go off of what I feel is appropriate for an American flag. Let's try that. Yeah, that looks like maybe more. We're getting into like Spider-Man territory. I always thought it was funny how Spider-Man and the American flag have a similar thing going on. Yeah, I like that. This is starting to speak American flag to me. I mean, right now it's the French flag. Well, I don't remember which side the red is on in the French flag. But yeah, this will do. Okay, so now let's make a new one. And so let's see what happens when we invert these. Kind of a yellowish orange. Yeah, let's go in there. So that's kind of directly opposite the blue. And then directly opposite the red is going to be this kind of, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that. There's almost like coral color. Yeah, I feel like I might want to play. Usually when you think of this, it's green. So maybe I will mess around in the green area a little bit more. Well, let's try it here. Let's try it with this like coral thing and see what you think about that. And now if we are truly inverting colors, let's not forget good old white in there in the middle, which is, of course, inverted, is going to become black. Very stark contrast. Okay, so can we make a color palette out of this? Do I want to make a color palette out of it? Yes. Although, if I'm being honest, I think that maybe I might take it a little bit more into the green zone. Yeah, because right now it's evoking, to me, it's just too much of like a sandy beach. And I don't know, I've got other thoughts. And of course now we have kind of like a Sprite lemon lime kind of thing going on. Yeah, and I don't dislike it. Well, now let me see. What about a background color? Interesting. Very Saved by the Bell, which is not always what I'm trying to evoke. I will say that maybe if our letters are a bit more outlined with black, like you would typically see, then maybe there's something to that. So let's try quickly just doing, this will come away soon. Come on, there you go. That's become an interesting little flag design all its own, which could be fun. I'll keep that there. You know what? Let's give this a try. I'm going to blend this a little bit more. What have I got? I don't want to specifically just make it blurry for no reason. I just want to okay, fun. Oh man, I really like that piece of that coming out of the side though. That's fun. You know what? As long as I'm here, I don't want to lose this cool, weird flag that I've created. So let's do something with this. 135 degrees. Great. Okay, same over here. Just get it at the 135 degree mark. Move you away for a second to fill this in. Okay. Needs more. Okay, let's see if that'll do the trick. Oh, and it needs it up here too. That's if I want it to come off of right off the middle. Okay, let's give it a try. Fun. Okay. Yeah, this feels like it needs to be just a little bit wider. Fascinating. It has a kind of like a, almost looks like Brazil's flag maybe. Okay, so we've got kind of a new 7-Up flag. While 7-Up is red and green, this is not that. Anyway, so now what we can do is take the eyedropper tool and select the multiple color range. But I'm going to try to do it even more zoomed out. Now you see how this has got a little bit from the outside. I'm going to try to just get, let's see what happens. Okay, we can work with that for now. I was hoping to get the black outline, which it did not get. You know what? Let's just go with the black outline. Nope, still didn't get it. Okay. Last try. Okay. Now we got it. Now let's find out what happens when we start writing with it. I'm going to pick a good brush for this. I think something kind of solid. Maybe I've been working with sharp inker a lot, but it needs to be kind of thick for what it is. So let's give let's see. Maybe this needs to be this makes it mostly black, which is maybe not my intention. It's interesting, but it's not very legible, is it? This is also the colors of the Jamaican flag, I think, or close to it, very close. All right, let's try it closer in. All right, let's try that and see what happens. Now, what background does that need to be to feel good? Just as someone who is still getting confident in their color picking ability, I have this fascination with purple, green, and yellow, which is showing itself now. It can be done well, but it needs a very light touch. Otherwise, it becomes sports colors. It becomes a Lakers jersey. Well, you know, purple and yellow minus the green, I guess. But let's give this a try and see if anything can come of it. And I can already tell it's going to be a little bit too much or something. Oh, this is cool. You can kind of decide where. Okay, let's give it a try. So, oh, and let's turn the smoothing way up, because that's how you get those nice smooth letters. Interesting. Let's make it thicker. So yeah, this is essentially, this is way too electric. As much as I like this, let me see what happens when I mess with just the hue and saturation, though. The hue specifically. Oh, that's kind of interesting. it's really tripping my eyes out. All right. Oh man, sorry y'all, I'm having too much fun. There's something about that I like. They're a little close to each other, aren't they? It's essentially blue and pink. It's very close to blue and red. Huh. Maybe if we took, let's give this a try. All right, I'm going to do this a little bit more traditionally as to how I saw it done in the tutorial. So let's take this blue. Oh, of course. And fill this. Let's get rid of this guy. And let's just try something where we use something dry. To draw on top of this. We'll take our black. Now, this is very much in keeping with how Chris Pajasic does the tutorial. He just kind of says, let's just make a little gradient, a little radial gradient. And let that be our guide. Okay, now start from the other side. I'm trying not to be too much of a perfectionist when it comes to this. Just get something, because it's just going to be a pattern on a brush. It's not going to be in the friggin' Smithsonian or whatever. Okay. And let's do a little light blue down the middle. A little highlight. Okay, let's give that a try. And I'm thinking that maybe with this particular color scheme I've got, maybe I'll try turning this on its head. That'll be our background color. So let's get rid of this. Nah, that's also too much. What's a good background color to go with blue? Honestly, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back down to earth a little bit. that might feel a little bit better. And even if it's white, or yellow, orange. Or even just brown. Not very striking. This is more on the striking side. Anyway, you can figure that out later. Let's bring this in more. And also when I saw it done, it was done this way. So let's give that a try. Let's see if that's going to work for our purposes. All right, zoom way out. We're constricted by the... Okay, let's give that a try. Let's see what happens. And we gotta do... Okay, it's too big. Not enough size variation. Let's try it with the brush. No, you don't get that cool 3D effect I'm looking to experiment with. What if we go back to pink? That's kind of funny. I realize I'm spending an awful lot of time on this rather than writing out all of the little things, but I think that's because this is going to take the most time. Don't forget to boost. is fun. This blue is almost too striking. So let's go back to our drawing board and imagine something else. We're getting into almost like we are getting into a pastel color set, but light pink, light blue, and black are the only ones that I've seen so far that make me feel like it's a color palette I could live with. And we're already 36 minutes in, so I think I'm going to go with it. Now, my other thought is that maybe it needs to be white around the outside. Instead. So let's get something that we can make a little bit of a gradient with, but a gritty brush pen. Oops. This is fun. And let's get some texture on this color too. Just get a little bit lighter. Maybe that's even too light. Let's bring it back. Make this much bigger. Okay, and do this one again, smaller. And now just right down the middle, just a little bit darker. Maybe even cut the opacity a little bit so it's not quite so. Oh, that's even too much. There we go, right down the middle. All right, this may be crazy, but let's give it a try. Okay, so zoom way out and color picker. Zoom way more out. Color picker again. I want to get some of that white on the sides. And again, it looks like I made it too wide. It needs to be a bit more square to get more of the white in there. Let's zoom way out. I'm going to zoom even more out. This may be closer to what I was hoping for, but now I've got that stuff on top. So let's compress this even more. Go in a little bit. Okay. This is the fun of working it out as you go and learning as you go. You get to sort of see moments like this where you're like not sure what you're doing. And you get to watch me be not sure what I'm doing, which is great for me. Okay, let's give that a try. I don't know why the two black lines interest me, but let's play with it for now. Okay, now let's just do something basic. Hard round size flow. Oh, nope. Dang, that's too much. What happens if we do it the other way? Let's try that. Let's see what happens. Did I turn the smoothing up? Yes. Alright, it's got kind of a bubblegummy flavor, something going on. I don't like this going on, so I'm going to blend this a bit more. Let's make a copy. Get rid of this one. I don't know where the blur options are, so I'm just gonna do this. Let's see. We'll see if this helps at all. All right. You know what? It probably would be better. This way I get more space to do the things I need to do. So let's give this a try. I have to rotate the whole canvas, but that's okay. Interesting. I mean, it looks like toothpaste or something. Hmm. Yeah, this is not coming out the way I had imagined it, which is maybe the problem with imagining things before you start them. At least for something like this. Oh no, this is getting kind of interesting. Let's experiment with this. Whoa, okay. Hang on. Okay, I'm willing to go with this for a second. All these letters are about the same size, so okay, here we go. Hurry up, Evan. We're gonna do a thing where each of these gets put on a different layer now, and they're all gonna be inside of a box so that they can take up about the same amount of space. No, you are right. It's almost the same amount of space. Let's give this a try. So here we go. No. Oh, no, no, no. What am I using? Point pen 2. Okay. Oh wait, gotta get the first one down. I like it better when you're using the straightening tool on it. That's interesting. Nope, don't finish that. It's a U, baby. It's too small. I already didn't give it enough space for these ones. Let's just start over. This is pretty easy. Nah, too much for the serifs. Is this okay? Smoothens way up. Good. You know what? look very good. Nah, this needs to be more fun. Yeah, like that. Okay, and now for the final. All right, last thing, we'll just make this. That's too much. How about that? That's better. Okay. Now let's rearrange these. All right, I know this looks pretty crazy. That's what I get for trying to do a good thing with my time. But you know what? You gotta try things. Or what are you doing? This needs something. Probably a drop shadow. I would do that in Photoshop, but I'll do it the dumb way. Okay. that with this one too. Guys, I'm sorry. I know this is dumb, but I gotta commit to it. Otherwise, what am I doing? That's like a bubblegum know your rights poster business card. Silly. But hey, if it gets even one more person to sort of know their rights, and if it could help anybody, and if even the mere fact that it's kind of not got great color theory behind it, and somebody really responds to this. Okay, it doesn't have no color theory to it. I mean, pink and blue are, what do they call those? Secondary cross complementary. Anyway, this is so interesting. Yeah, man, I dug a hole for myself on this one, but what the heck? Just keep going. All right, I'm going to finish this up and add in the actual text. Now this part I think is worth oh, hey, what's up? I'm gonna type this out, but with the intention of hand lettering over it. This is just my guide to make sure that I get enough space with everything. I was using this, where is it? What's it called? Oh, it starts with a K. It's not here. Interesting. Oh, I installed it on my desktop, not on my iPad. That's why it's not showing up. Okay, well, we'll just do a classic kind of comic situation. All right. So let's do this. One. You do not have to open the door. We're not even going to have enough room for all of this. That's probably better. Okay, the text. Yes, style text. I think that Let's try that. Okay. All right, I see you. Okay, you know what? No numbers. What? All right, you're pissing me off. Goodbye. Okay. Now instead, we're gonna do this situation. Just okay. Let's write this out. Let's bring this back down to. Yeah, we're gonna do 12. I guess I like centered text. Can't help it. Oh, and you know what? Even better, because this is know your rights. Whoa. Should have just played around with these. These are friggin' wild. Whoa. Alright. What is that? Which one was it I used? This one. All right, here we go. I'm going to try a few things. Bring this back. Yes. Cover up the text. Everything's sideways now because I don't want to change everything all at a moment's notice. Duplicate. All right, I'm gonna try it. Oh man, I got myself in pickle with this one. Here we go. But you know, I'm gonna still try and have fun with this despite being totally freaking wild and stupid. get back to let's not forget that I made these big. And then size them down. Now, gotta make something that's gonna fit in this place. All right, let me get this. Damn it. And all of this also is with margins, so I gotta take it in from the margins eventually. I gotta remember that. We've been at this an hour and 12 minutes, so I want to finish up with the lettering and call it a day. Nice, at least there'll be one interesting looking thing in this interesting 3D ball from somebody who knows what they're doing actually. Duplicate layer. I mean, okay, here's the thing, people. I know what I'm doing for the most part, but in this regard, I am um, exploring, we'll call it. So it's good to know that sometimes you can't win them all, especially when you're trying new things. Some days you just don't have it. And I think that's okay. Oh, it's affecting the one beneath. That's why I couldn't see it. Okay. Okay, and now on to the text finally. Number 2, you can ask them to leave. Let's just get these done because these aren't going to be the finals. Don't forget your Fifth Amendment rights. You can stay silent. Always good to know. You do not have to share personal info. That was number 4. Yeah. Number 5. You do not have to sign anything or hand over documents. And last but not least, you have the right to speak with an attorney. All right, let's move these around a little bit, maybe even. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna get these a little bit smaller. I don't know why that still is interesting looking to me. Okay, it's time for, before I move on, let's double check that I'm actually paying attention at all to my margins, which I know I'm not. Okay, know your rights needs to be inside of the text safe. There we go. And let's move these up. Yeah, just make them skinnier. That's fun. Do these all... Oh, good. There we go. Now we've got my center line. That's nice. Try to get them kind of the same and within the bounding box. Whatever, close enough. Get that a little closer. You always have the right to speak to an attorney. Okay. Now that those are within the bounding box, actually, I want this little guy to be in there. Okay, and now for the hand lettering. Now that I see this, I don't really like this color. So let's alter that. Maybe it just needs to be put these all in a group so I can treat them as one object, since they're totally fine as far as the position. Yeah, it shouldn't be just straight black, should it? Okay, let's play around for a second. I mean, obviously I can go with something like this. Yeah, that makes the most sense. Let's give it a try. Okay. And this can be just a little bit smaller. And I'm realizing that this would be useful to have in other languages, particularly Spanish. So maybe I will make a version of this that is in Spanish. Once I translate, or I could probably do a decent job translating, but I've got friends who could double check it for me. I gotta be honest though, I would have to really take another look at this because I'm not sure I would want to put this out as is with the color scheme and lettering work at the top that I've concocted so far. It was fun to do. I mean, besides the part where I was second guessing myself the whole time. But, you know, if the intention is to put out a prettier version or something that has more artistic merit than the more dry version that is put out on a website somewhere, I'm not sure that this accomplishes that. But you know, I could put it out as is and see if anyone responds to it, just because I'm not taken with my work in this instance. Beauty, as they always say, is in the eye of the beholder. So there might be something, that frequently happens with me, where something that I either put very little effort into or put a lot of effort into but don't like the result of, something that just to me doesn't speak to what I know my abilities are somewhere deep down. Inevitably I will get somebody who points to that thing and says, wow, I really like when you do that kind of work. To which my response is usually, really? So I guess my point is, as an artist, you never know what people are going to respond to, and it helps to just put things out. You should be proud of what you put out there, right? I'm not saying don't be. Now, you do not have to open the door. I want to point out and remind you that you do have to open the door if there's a judicial order, if there is a warrant signed by a judge. But frequently, ICE will trick people into not into saying that they need to come in without. What I'm saying is ICE relies on people not having a knowledge of their own rights to get into places they should not be. And the website, the Instagram account of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, where I got this information, lays that out very well. And so you should go check it out if you have any questions about what any of this shortened version means. Okay, I'm coming up on hour 30, so let's finish this off. I would also recommend using any connections you have these days to find a lawyer, and that is whether or not you are an immigrant or a U.S. citizen, whether you're here legally or illegally, because we're coming into a time where it's going to be very important for people to have lawyers in their corner. I don't even know a lawyer to speak of. I think my cousin Mike is a lawyer, but this is definitely not his specialty. So it behooves you to know someone in your arena and find those people. Again, AOC has a lot of resources for finding things like this in your area. I would suggest checking that out. I'm just here to try to spread the word. And I don't know everything. This is just an opportunity for me to use my artwork and my platform to try to share something that I know is worth sharing right now, but I am by no means an expert. And I would say that it's incumbent upon all of us to do our work and do more. And that includes me. This means that I will be continuing to educate myself. This was my first level of education on the issues that are going to continue happening to us and our country at the moment. Make sure this is legible. Well, it's not the world's greatest piece of art, but I hope that I got some people interested in knowing a little bit more about their rights and that they have still some amount of institutional precedent that they can rely on, some of the laws of the land. Well, it is what it is. There you have it. There's my business card where you can know your rights with ICE. Um, before we go, maybe I'll just see if there is a better. Color that the background can be on. Gross. It's kind of nice just as that, isn't it? Ew. I hope that trips your eyes up too much. Nope. Nope. Good Lord. Yeah. Let's go with that. That's just a little bit better. And maybe we can even pull a little bit of a. Nope. That's even better. Just keep it simple. All right, I'm gonna call it done. It's perfectly fine. I hope this helped educate you a little bit. It certainly helped educate me. Before I started, I didn't know what these rights were for people who were getting harassed by ICE officers, so this is good to know. I plan on trying my best to impart this wisdom on people, to people I know who need to know it. And yeah, if I decide to come back to this and mess around with it in a way where it might actually end up looking good or interesting, then I might go ahead and do that and actually have something worth printing on a card for people, which would be lovely. I love the idea of having something like this available to people who need it. Like I said, the little card that I keep in my pocket about knowing your rights as somebody when you're dealing with the police has come in very handy a few times, and I'm always glad that I have it. So hopefully something like this that you can stick in your pocket will be helpful to people out there in the world. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this edition of Art of Evan K Livestream. Follow me every Saturday for a draw along like this. Next week, maybe I'll be getting back to drawing on top of selfies. But in the meantime, I hope that you have a great rest of your weekend. And yeah, always be sure to know your rights and help spread the word about what people's rights are. Because we have power, and part of that power is in our numbers. Part of that power is in our collective knowledge of the system. And this is part of that. So please feel free to share and enjoy. Much love to everyone out there experiencing any kind of trouble, and I wish you well. See you later.